PSVR chat show.
That could be Preacher's brother in there. It doesn't matter.
Dan Dunham from Electric Hat Games. And we've got Ryan from the VR Grid. Shughead. The Preacher Plays. Justin PSVR. God Cannon. The Livinator. And Lewis Knight PSVR. And this room was created by Jimif Jamif and Jason the Livinator. And you're going to see this level and it's really cool. Everyone's putting loads of effort. Where's Richard?
I don't think that's a real crowd.
It's at his house, waiting at his house right now.
He's what?
Richard is at the top.
A lot of people.
No, righty, guys, that's it then. We've got to make our way up the top, guys.
I guess it's time to go to the top, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh, really?
Oh, do we just
wink,
wink, pun intended?
One at a time. Single file, guys. Single file.
I'll go last.
I messed up already. See, I messed up already. I'm going to go last. I suck.
This feels like Christmas morning now.
What's up, Cloak? Oh my god. Basically, the guys have been in the room and have made a two.
This is actual to the top level.
Yeah, this is a
Two
real
top that made this.
Richard Mating has made a nice message for us on the way in.
Oh, look at the guys. Look at them go.
I fell. I'm going to go this way.
Jumping on the stream.
If you guys can't tell here, this level has been inspired by To the Top, as we were talking to the devs today, so
Hey, you
let's
can
get
go
up
up the
there.
side too.
Whoa. What's up, dude?
Oh, no. I fall.
Oh, my God. This is nuts.
I'm going to fly.
Very cool.
Like, to the top.
I love the move controllers. That's sick.
Here. We got the To the Top.
Oh, there's more at the top.
Inspired by To the Top.
Yep. I know, this is
Yeah, for
insane.
those of you guys just tuning in, if you can't hear the other guys.
This was made by,
Oh,
look at this!
Hey, look at this!
Hey!
Yeah.
Very nice, boys and girls. Very
Voice
nice.
created. Welcome to the
Hey, I made
PSVR
it.
Chat Show.
What up?
Here they all are.
That's sweet.
And it's
Look at the move controllers. Those move controllers are so dope. That is amazing.
I love the headsets. I love the headset.
And
That is the biggest. Guys, you should have put analog sticks on those. I'm just kidding.
What the hell? I did it again.
When are we getting the donuts? When are we
got
getting
that.
the
Shughead got
donuts?
it.
Yeah, got it.
All right. Whenever you want.
Nice.
I was going to say, before we get started talking, let's have some donuts and some root beer.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is we're in Rec Room right now, and to the top devs
One of them.
made this level. That's awesome. Oh wait, I want one of the glazed. Well, take the glazed.
God, Kenneth's got two.
Before they're
No,
gone.
this is mine. Okay, fine.
Cheers. I didn't take two. I took two. I'm sorry.
Holy shit.
Hey, you gotta
Save
cheers,
some
dude.
donuts.
Cheers.
Holy crap.
No,
There we go.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
Oh,
to
get my
PSVR.
spot.
And
Bring that
VR.
one.
All right.
Oh,
Be out there.
Cheers.
There you go. Making it rain all over.
This is amazing, guys. This is really
Yeah, this looks really cool. I just want to look at it like this.
Unfortunately, Jim's going to
take
make
them
it
up,
because of the
Shug.
update.
He's driving.
We should do. We got to do like a screenshot there, like a picture. A group photo on top of the stage.
We will have a Kodak moment for sure.
Yeah, I'm right here though. This is my thumbnail right here. This is amazing.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going for these more donuts, man.
Guys,
Too much to drink. What? You want to eat my used donut?
I do. I want your used donut.
Look, there's a sun here. Look at
donut.
they made a sun, guys. And the sun is actually, it's like spinning on orbit. Look at that. That's a
We're all still
sun.
children. boys and
Ryan was
girls.
actually
We're all
chilling on the
still
sun
big
before.
grown-up children.
Ryan, can I get on my knees this game?
What's up?
I hope you can. That's the plan later.
Well, if you want me to eat your used donut.
Get on your knees and tell me you love me.
Oh, this one's cream filled.
Look at all of them.
That's my cream.
Oh, deal.
Yo.
I'm the floor donut guy. I'll pick up all your floor donuts. I'm good with it.
How far does it go down? All the way down. That's awesome. Can I hear it drop?
Oops.
Oh. He says sorry.
Finish your donut.
Sorry.
I'm learning buttons here.
Nice.
All right,
Let me bring my chair. I gotta bring my chair up.
Looking forward to this, Richard.
To help
Oh.
Man, you just bottled me.
I wasn't even facing the right way.
Man, I love eating donuts.
All I can hear is Preacher over there.
Shut up! I don't know.
Doesn't help.
I swear he's had more than me. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I guarantee he has. Maybe.
Oh, this is a really comfy couch, guys.
I want to
Seriously.
sit next to Lewis. I want to sit next to Lewis.
Most of us were the same way. So.
Nice.
I had the best firewall stream today. It was awesome. I swear to God.
Last night was just
Everything's awesome about Firewall, but we're going to talk about that soon.
Mine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's
All right, Gamertag, let's take it away.
He's principal now.
Yeah, let's get her going.
Yeah, man. So we've got Richard. Is Dan coming today or not?
He'll be here eventually.
All right, cool,
Send
man.
me a message. So
Are we going to
as he's
wait for
on,
Dan,
I'll get
or
him
should we
on.
just fire up the questions with you, man?
we could just fire up the questions. That's cool.
Well, let him do his speak first, and then we'll do questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do first?
Well, no, let him talk about the game, and then we'll ask the questions from the YouTubers out there.
I'll tell you what, let's talk about To the Top, dude.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So what was like your inspirations behind the game when you made it?
It's definitely looking at it. We wanted to make a platformer. We knew that like VR locomotion was going to be a challenge. So we kind of just looked at like what were like great system sellers, and like Super Mario was like one of those things that like defined a generation. Brought the game industry back and all this other good stuff. So that was a huge one. And then we also have Mirror's Edge for first person. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's good you incorporate multiplayer as well. I think that's one of the biggest things for To the Top. Is it the same amount of players on PC VR as it is on PlayStation?
I think we have a lot more on PlayStation. We've had a really good community, so it's really awesome. All those features in there. So yeah,
It is a
go
strong community,
PSVR.
dude. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what should we do? Should we go through the questions that we got from the viewers?
Yeah.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we
Do
should.
you
We've
You guys got any
we've got a
questions?
few here.
Peter.
Yeah, man.
I don't have
We've
any.
got... No, that's cool. So we've got from Grim Catnip. What were your inspirations for the game, which you just said? Any plans for more levels and any future games being made with the engine?
So for the most part, you guys got all the extra levels, because all the extra levels we got into the PC version, then brought all that stuff to the PlayStation VR as well. So really, we want to make something bigger and better, and that's kind of our next big focus. As well.
What are you trying to say? This is To the Top 2 coming?
There's something down the line. we haven't nailed down exactly what, but yeah, I don't think it'll be the same engine, but it'll be a better engine. So that'll take a little bit more time, but it'll be extra nice for you guys.
It is an amazing engine already, considering there's no pro features. It is an amazing looking game.
Oh yeah,
They have guns.
thanks. Will they have guns? Maybe.
Flaming and guns.
To follow up on that, though, is there any plans? Are you guys continuing support, like as far as like even more modes, like even like hide and seek or tag or something like that? Is there anything in the
Tag. Tag would be quite good.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe. I think the issue is that it is a little.
Drop it.
I could drop it. No, I think you could hear me better without the mic.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah,
better
man, it's
without
cool.
yeah. No, it's a nice touch. I like the touch. But yeah, doing those extra modes would be really, really neat. It's a little harder to get updates through PlayStation. So if we were to experiment with that stuff, that's when we do it on the PC, and then we could update it like as much as we want. But yeah, we definitely have some plans to do like some really early testing stuff. But that'll be mostly on the PC side for the most part, which, if it was easier, we'd get it to you guys. But for the most part, we have so much more control on the Steam side. So yeah, it's allowed us to really proof of concept our game already, and then bring a polished version to you guys at the end of the day.
Yeah.
that makes
I
sense.
want to ask, can we download the soundtrack?
You can find the soundtrack in various places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One song here, one song there.
YouTube.
But yeah, there might be something down the line where you can get a hold of the soundtrack in a certain way. We haven't announced that yet, but there might be something special.
Yeah, because a lot of people will enjoy the music. A lot of people
Yeah,
enjoy the
no,
music.
it's a really awesome.
Yeah, and
soundtrack,
who's the person who created the music?
So it's a bunch of different Austin bands for the most part. So we have Capiac, that's one of the bigger ones. Sloom's on there, Sip Sip, Mirror Mask, and then we have Future Islands, which is not an Austin band, but a bigger one that I wanted to include just because it breaks the mold, and I really love their sound.
Yeah, and you had Breakbot in there. That's a group that I like. They're a new disco group. I was pretty pumped to see that in there.
I think we had Breakbot, but maybe next time.
Well, is there? Which song are you referring to?
I don't remember the name of it, but it's in there. It was in there.
It should be in there still then.
It could have been on your Spotify.
I was gonna say he left his Spotify.
Maybe it's, yeah.
All right, so we've got another good one here from non-profit socks. He says, "Where do you see the future of PSVR and VR in general, and what are your main goals to achieve on the platform?"
What was the question again?
Sorry, the question was, where do you see the future of PSVR and VR in general, and what are your main goals to achieve?
I think it's really just building out that audience, right? Like, slowly but
that's what we're trying to do. That's what all of us try and do on YouTube.
That's what it's all about, because I know VR is not for everybody, and that's fine. I don't think you don't need to say like VR is the future, because it's not going to overcome everything else, right? It's just going to be added on to everything else. So people can still play non-VR games, and then people play VR games. It's just finding who that audience is, and then making the best awesome games that make people want to put on the headsets. And that's really, what we're doing. And I think with the last releases,
definitely
the last couple months, we're finding what really works in VR, and and what we can expand on, because we're 11 Firewall 0 now, and we know it's rough in some places, but it's like an archetype that you could build on the future, and you could easily see where that is in 5 years.
Yeah,
and for us, it's the same. It's like we have a grander vision of what we could do to the top, and it's not just platforming and stuff like that. There's a lot of things we could do with our mechanics, and we have that vision. It's just getting there, and one step at a time.
I just can't imagine what it must be like to have a vision or a dream of making a game and actually seeing it and getting in it.
Yeah,
it must be incredible.
It takes a dream, and it takes a little bit of ignorance, because making a game takes a lot of hard work, and it's a big risk. But the end of the day, we're really happy with it, and we're really lucky. We've been able to find an awesome audience to support it and support us to make the next big thing.
Nice, man. So another question from one of God Cannon's followers. Metcat, what are your future plans at Electric Hat Studios? So I'm assuming they're thinking either what are you working on, or are you expanding teams, or?
For the most part, yeah. Like, so for To the Top, this is like the most independent project possible. Like, this is money out of our pocket. We didn't get extra support from anybody else besides Panic Button, which employs Dan, and they're really awesome of getting the PSVR version out. But from the ground up, it was out of our pocket to get the base game done for the PC. So really, it'd be great to
guys, man.
Thanks. Yeah. So
yeah, man.
A lot of
Did you have to quit your original jobs to fully work on this? I mean, it must be such a risk.
Yeah, it is a big risk.
Got a risk for the biscuit.
Oh, I love biscuits.
It's all about rolling those dice, so you could always get a paycheck at the end of the day, or you could blaze your own path, and we're trying to blaze our own path. And but I know there's also partners out there. We're very stubborn, and we wanted to just get it out there and get it done. But I know that we could work with other people to that we're not going to lose control of what our game is, but they just want to support us to make a even better one. So hopefully we can make some great deals.
Do you have any sales figures? Any sales figures To the Top? Like how it's doing?
So on the PC side, I don't know if I could say on the PlayStation side, but on the PC side, it's about 28,000, which is pretty decent. Our target was like 20,000, because that was kind of the top mark about a year into the VR sales there. So. It's not killing it. You're not gonna get that million copy seller. But over time, I think we can get more and more people, and I think it's in my eyes, I have to kind of look at as it's kind of classic in a way of hopefully people can still play it like 3 years down the line and still like it, 5 years down the line and still like it.
The thing is, hopefully bringing out this game so early in the life of VR, that's given you maybe some sort of advantage.
Right. It is.
The
And
next thing.
Reputation.
Yeah, and reputation.
It's reputation
Absolutely.
and seeing all the
Absolutely.
platforms because we have a lot of different headsets now, right? We have the PlayStation one, we have the PC stuff with 3 different
You got
kinds
the
of
Vive,
headsets.
you got the Rift.
Yep, and then
There's
the
new ones
Windows.
bloody every other month at the moment, I keep seeing.
Right.
I read an interesting article the other day. It was talking about the slow growth of like the 3 million headsets sold is actually, it benefits smaller independent developers like Electric Hat and everyone else. Did you see any benefit from this, like, versus having to go against like some giant company with PSVR?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. Like the hardest thing right now for creating games, especially on a smaller scale, is exposure. You definitely see that with on the PC side, like they let the floodgates open and anyone can make something for Steam, which is a really cool thing and also a really hard thing, depending on where you're coming at it. So for us, it was a lot easier to as long as we made a great game, people kind of supported it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But you also see that with like Firewall is a pretty small-ish team, and they're not competing with Call of Duty, right? So, and for us, we're not competing with too many other people. There's not many games like ours.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Can we look at Ryan, the Ryan VR grid, man? He's been...
Yeah.
You wouldn't give numbers for PlayStation. I understand they make you guys sign the papers, but you said you had your base quota for PC was 20,000. You sold 28,000. Did your sales on PlayStation exceed your expectations as far as that goes?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I think we're kind of on track of it'll be hitting similar targets over time. So yeah, I don't think it's the install base is 3 times as large as what it is on the PC-ish. Depending on what you're counting. So I think over time it'll be similar, but yeah, it's not drastically greater than the PC side.
So you'd say 3 times 28,000 then is what you're saying?
No, no. I think it's actually similar numbers, but
You're being humble.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you were number 1 in June on PSVR side. You were the number 1 selling game in June.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Clap, 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 clap.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're being too humble right now, buddy. Hey, appreciate you, but yeah.
It's an amazing game, dude.
We gotta
That's
give
what we're
credit where
here
credit's
talking about it. So anyway, next we got...
JT,
Oh, sorry, one more. Sorry, mate.
Very quick. Sorry, I
Go
just had
for
a
it.
question related to that from one of the guys on my stream, from A Hobbit. He's just asking, would it help and benefit the developers if you could donate through Patreon or Paw Stamp or something like that? That's something you guys
that's cool.
do? Or?
I mean, maybe, but it's the thing where it's I'm not gonna go and nickel and dime people or kind of beg for money. But there's things if we're gonna do dedicated servers, stuff like that. I was thinking hey, maybe we would actually go that route. But I don't see a whole lot of success on the crowdfunding side or the doing a VR Kickstarter game is doesn't really work right now. I haven't seen a whole lot of success stories, and there's one that is going on right now that's ex God of War developers. They're making kind of a space pirate trainer type of thing, and they're just looking for $30,000, which is not going to get them far. But I hope they actually make their Kickstarter goals and stuff like that. But yeah, I think for us, depending on the way we go, if we're going to go more single player with the next thing, we're not going to look for crowdsource stuff or looking for other side of funding. But if we do some more multiplayer things, and we want, if you guys want dedicated servers, helping us with those costs would be awesome. So that might be a way we go, because as we could see with some recent multiplayer games, having a dedicated servers that are a little bit easier to jump into and play is a huge benefit, especially for VR. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got any live viewer
answer,
questions? So I've got some in here already. Has anyone else got any others on their streams currently?
I got a question. And this is coming from me. One of the things that I definitely noticed jumping into your game when I was doing my review was the draw distance was fantastic. And that always seems to be one of the weak spots in VR is good draw distance without it becoming a blurry, jagged mess. I guess that just kind of leads me into kind of how did you find a workaround for that, and also just kind of challenges with working on the PSVR hardware?
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good question for sure. So for the first thing I wanted to do was the art style kind of started off with thinking about like, okay, we're going to have these big-ass levels, right? We're talking about city blocks, not just like a building. So that's one thing. And then we knew that people were going to be climbing against the surfaces, so a lot of that stuff gets into be like a very jumbled mess, right? So we really wanted to limit like the textures, so there's no... I think there's only like, out of the whole game, there's a couple objects that might have a photo texture. There's no photo textures. There's just a color, like a shine to it, and like some normal maps. That's the way we kept it clean and kind of cohesive. So things that look far away and things look close have the same quality. And totally. I really want to dedicate or dictate to you like what the shape is of the thing. Like that is the most important thing. Like I don't care about trash on the ground. I just care about, you seeing the shape clearly. So that's where that came into play. And then as far we push the draw distance as much as we can. There's still times that we clip it. But for the most part, it was kind of a nightmare making such big levels, but it's also a lot of fun. So, if I wanted to... it would be great if it was a little bit more realistic, or you could see like people below you, and we've really fleshed that out. But that comes with a lot of like smoke and mirrors, and we only had so much smoke and so many mirrors. But I think it works. It was just about a clean, cohesive style that was easily readable, and that's kind of like what we went for. And
you just nailed the sensation, that feeling of
absolutely
of flight and climbing, and without making people barf too. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I was when I started the game. I think, Lewis, you have the same problem. I'm afraid of heights. Not deathly afraid of heights, but I couldn't even do the levels at first, and this game has broken me out of that. And you've helped me get over that a lot. Just fly. I can fly around, drop anywhere in there, man. Well, you saw it. You came at the beginning. You saw how scared I was. I was sitting there with my hands sweating. I couldn't even get up there. Yeah, it was crazy.
Death, man.
It was,
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, you and Justin are like, you've done the you won the competition, didn't you?
Hey, Lewis.
Oh, yeah, I'm not trying to brag, but yes.
Yeah, man. I was waiting for that. Why aren't they sending anyone?
Are you doing any more competitions? People have been asking because people want the shirts. Are you guys planning on doing any more?
Yeah. Well, let's not get in the way of the Game Cats. The Game Cats you guys have a competition coming up in middle of September?
Yeah.
We'll do fantastic.
That is a great idea.
So check that out.
Yep. Winner gets $20, so definitely join if you want to. It'll be fun.
Nice. I got one more question over here.
Good clarify. PSN card.
Fantastic Gaming. To the top. What were the challenges with trying to get rid of sim sickness in VR?
I think it's like one of them is really recognizing the different kinds of issues that people could have. Because like we just talked about heights, that's one issue. The other is the whole motion. Another is like rotation for people. And then for us, we also have the sensation of falling, which I think is different than nausea and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't like it.
I fall a lot into the top.
Yeah, so we try to minimize, the nausea and stuff like that with how we move you and how you jump and how we accelerate the movement and stuff like that. And then for like the sensation of falling and stuff like that, it's like, well, that's just part of the game. It's finding that balance. For us, we look at it as like a roller coaster. Like it's a little bit thrilling, it's a little bit scary, but it's safe for the most part. So yeah, it's kind of all those balances, and then kind of play testing it. We did a lot of play testing, so we did a lot of events around Austin. We probably did like 30 events or something like that, with doing South by, doing Rooster Teeth, doing other VR meetups, and then just testing it and just seeing how everyone reacts and gets into it. So
So I've got a question from a viewer, from Jimif Jamif, who helped create this level. He said, yeah, man, he can't get in. The game won't update for him, unfortunately.
Well, tell him thanks for putting it together. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. He just said, what's it like to be on the show in a level built around your game?
It's really stellar. No, it was really, really cool to jump in here yesterday and like see what you guys did, and like it's like, you know, I knew this was going to be like a VR chat show, but like, you know, we have a little gameplay to jump around and get to here, and I thought that was
yeah, man, the level's fantastic.
Super cool. Yeah, this is like, you know, this is why VR is different and like fun and new. Like, I've never heard of something like this, and I think it's cool that you guys are putting it together.
Wicked.
It's really hard not to just jump around right now and go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm winking at you right now, but you can't see it. So sorry.
So I've got a developer jumping on the chat. Strange Games. They do on duty.
Is that Reggie? Is that Reggie?
Yeah, man. Reggie. What was your experience like with Sony's VR consultant?
Oh man, I wish Dan was here. Actually, let me see if he's here.
Let me pass this over to someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to pass him. Dan Dunham was supposed to be here.
Totally gaggle.
He's coming. He's online now. He just got on.
They're finding ways to get around that.
All right, cool. So I'm going to go back to the questions.
I think he joined. I think he's.
Is that
Cerebral Frost?
Hey, you gotta climb.
Perfect timing, Dan.
Oh yeah, we can fly, Lewis. Yeah, that's right.
So let's hold that question.
Chuck just jumped.
I believe I can fly.
Oh man. So that's Richard Matey talking now, and the guy coming up is Dan Dunham, and they made the game to the top. The questions, everyone asking questions on the stream. Earlier in the week I put out a video and just said, look, if you want to ask a question, just write it down. So I've actually got the questions that people have put in before, so I can't really keep the guys here asking everyone's questions because it's people who took the time out to actually put in their questions. So, but next time that we'll do that. We're going to do a viewer question thing next time, obviously.
Yeah, please send them in.
Send them to anybody. Send them in, man.
Send them in to anybody, and we'll get them.
He's waiting for them to come across so he can drop it on their head. Look.
How do you know? How do you know
I can see exactly what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I've been a kid too before, bro.
You want one?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Wait till they're waiting till they come across so they can just drop. It's like water bombs. It's like water bombs.
Oh yes! Oh God! Are you balling?
They're bombing. Yeah, they're bombing. It's hilarious. I saw Preach. I knew what he was doing. I was like, look at this guy, man.
All the special guests.
Oh no, I fell.
That's awesome.
That was hilarious.
That was a perfect shot.
Thanks, Dylan.
That was great. Hey, Cerebral Frost, nice to meet you, bro.
Chatting with the developers of To the Top.
Good to meet you guys. What's up? Nice room, guys.
How you doing, Cerebral Frost? You good?
Yeah.
Nice
to see you again.
Before, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Cool, man.
There we go.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, sir.
Have a root beer. Have a root beer. Shug's giving you a root beer.
Actually,
is there any donuts left for him? Give him a donut.
I think
Richard, come down, man. We're like Mary Poppins.
Okay, there you go.
You got a floor donut.
Where is he?
So Dan, we have a question for you.
What's up?
Excuse me.
Is it a hard question? Because I can't answer hard questions.
Oh God.
It is a hard. It's a question you're not going to want to answer.
The question was from Strange Game Studios, the guys who develop Honor and Duty. They wanted to know, what was your experience with the Sony VR consultant?
Actually, the Sony VR consultant stuff was awesome. Mostly just because it helped us with like QA stuff. Without having to actually submit to QA, so it actually helped a lot.
Excellent stuff. Right, next question from Regular Joe. How long does it take on average to complete one map from start to finish?
From To the Top.
It totally depends on the map and how good you are. Yeah. There's some folks that can just fly through the maps
I think he means you building
about creating it.
Oh, making the map. Oh, yeah, that's a Richard question.
46 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a Richard question.
That's a Richard question.
Placeables and no placeables.
I like this guy.
Over to you, Richard.
So, yeah, it took me about a week to get, like, an idea down, and it's playable. And then that's like a bulk of the work. And then it's playtesting it with different people. And then refining it over time. So it really was, like, about 2 weeks, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe, about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna be right back because I actually have some raspberry beer that I'm gonna go get. So I'll be right back.
Nice.
Like that.
That's so cool. This is sarsaparilla, guys. This is sarsaparilla. Just want to let you know.
What's up, Heavy?
Right, we've got a question from Justin.
Mitch Hollow. That's Seraphim's friend.
Well, I think we actually haven't we haven't had many females, that's one thing. But for the most part, I think I designed the game so there's no friction in the game. So, you know, when you jump in and you race against each other, there's nothing that's like competitive. You're not shooting anyone in the head, right? So we wanted to test out to see like, hey, is this if this is all positive and you're just helping placeables, how are people going to react? And it was really good. Like, you guys are all cool. Like, we haven't had any issues of moderating at all, which is fantastic.
Yeah, positive gaming.
Yeah, that's it.
I will, Dylan.
It's all positive. So yeah, I think it's really up to the design of the game. So.
And you get points for high-fiving, too. You were rewarded
that's
for,
right.
for cheering.
Yeah.
Slugging
So,
a beer, man.
Rec room.
Yeah, I think
wink, wink. Wink, wink.
the more competitive and the more friction you have in the game, the more, back and forth you're going to have. And that's just, that's the nature of it, I really feel like.
That's why we don't have, chat during Firewall.
Yeah, like Firewall, it's super, super fun, but I get pissed off, and I say, and I curse, and, it's...
Yeah. I don't want to talk to the other team. I don't want to talk to the other team afterwards. I'm going to say some shit.
Well, that's why you can't talk to them, right? Yeah.
So before you made to the top, did you have any other ideas on the board? Did you have any? Was there anything else that you thought, if this doesn't work, or what made you fully invest in like a parkour game of that type, or was it just the one thing you both wanted to do?
Before to the top, there was a few different experiments that I built.
Yeah.
Almost
Can you go
all
into
of them,
them, or will it lead on to something else?
I mean, not a lot of them were really games. They were just kind of experiments, learning how to sort of make stuff in VR. But I was always trying to make stuff with movement in it. And that, that's not the most popular move in some circles. But yeah, like I built one demo where I was trying to do a jetpack thing. Like you had miniature planets, and you had like this miniature planet, and you were like jetpack around this mini planet, trying to solve puzzles and stuff, and that was terrible. And then, yeah, that was different. No, yeah, the Iron Man thing was not quite, because the jetpack was built with the Vive, right? And so it was room scale. And so what you do is the jetpack was actually on one side of your room, like your physical room, and it was always in that same spot. And then you had the rest of your room to like walk around and like go do stuff with puzzly stuff. And then you'd walk back over to your jetpack like this and then get in it and then fly away. And so basically you were flying your room around this miniature planet and like trying to do stuff. And so I thought
that sounds incredibly cool.
I thought it was clever, but it really wasn't clever. It was not that. It was very arduous to like have to, I want to get in my jetpack. Oh, I got to walk over here to get in the right thing. And of course, the controls were all physical, so you had to grab, the left and right sticks with your controllers and then move them around to fly. And it was
so to make a test demo for yourself, how much time does that take?
Not long, especially these days. Like, not maybe even 10 years ago, it was difficult to get a hold of some off-the-shelf tech to be able to build anything, and that took a long time just to build a tech stack. And now it's like you can just get something off the shelf, either Unreal or Unity, and start prototyping and stuff. And actually, even this game, even the guys, that did Rec Room, like the tools that they built for this let you kind of play around with things in VR.
Well, look at this.
Super cool.
Look at
this.
I mean,
this
is what Jason and Jimmy have made. And
right. Well, I mean, besides just doing environments, but also like they have mechanics and things that you can do, and they have little, now they have the little, I forget what they call them, but you can hook up little logic gates and things like that, and have like game logic in your rooms and stuff. So yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, man.
We got enough time for the last two questions, and then we got to continue on.
Yeah, good. Well, has anyone else got
we don't want to make
questions?
people sit here for 2 hours watching us again.
No, definitely not. We're
were you guys here for 2 hours? Oh my god. Okay.
No. Before, the last time we went way too long.
Has anyone else got any questions on the chat? Or we're going to start talking about Firewall.
Well, I just want to quickly jump in. I got Dylan in chat here, and he just wanted me to take a chance to let you guys know that he absolutely loves your game, and he plays it every single day.
Heck yeah!
Sweet. Is he like at the top of the leaderboards now? Like
I don't know. He's not saying. Maybe he still sucks. Maybe he still sucks, but he loves it.
That's cool too.
Hey, it's okay because I still suck and I love it too, so it's fine.
You know what names you'll see on that leaderboard?
Oh, Cannon? Yeah, God Cannon. Yeah.
What's up, man? Cannon's on a lot of leaderboards. I ain't even talk to Cannon.
Yeah. Trophy hunter. Dave Station, who can't be here, unfortunately, at the moment, he has asked if Panic Button plan to port more games to PSVR because they've done a really good port with some Switch games.
So I'm not under the authority to answer that question.
Right.
We do. I mean, Panic Button does have lots of stuff that we're working on. I don't know if you guys know or like look at the other list of games that we're working on, but there's a lot of non-VR games in there as well. So yeah, I mean that would be a question for Adam, the director over there at Panic Button. But yeah.
Excellent, and there's just one more that I need to fit in. What comes first when you're developing a game? Is it the story or the concept?
Well, with this one, it was definitely just the concept of the movement and stuff like that. Like the story is, I mean, I think Richard would agree. The story is pretty much an afterthought, really, because it was way more important to get it's way more important to get the mechanics and everything working for this game. But that's not true for every game, right? Like there's some really cool story-based games out there too, where the story, Detroit, for example, I mean, the mechanics in Detroit are amazing, but the story is really the focus.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, guys, it's time to talk about Firewall.
Wait, one more question. We have two more questions from the viewers. We have Jimith and we have...
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, we have one more question.
Yeah, I was looking at Jimith, man. I thought we
guys, I'm sorry, I'm lagging out.
The light
and Arch King Wizard. There was another one from ArchKing Wizard.
So we've got one from Arch King Wizard. It says, are there any plans for DLC or maps? The Moon Controller.
There are plans in the works for future stuff. We are not sure quite what that's going to take the shape of. We don't know if that's going to take the shape of
Sorry about that.
New game or DLC or something like that. But yeah, we're definitely working on stuff. But at the moment, it's just me and Richard right now because we're pretty thin, pretty bare bones. So
man.
So yeah.
Is there any plans to expand yourselves as Electric Hat?
I mean, that's always the goal, right? Like, is to get this out, get the IP out, get some recognition, and then start making bigger and bigger games. That's always kind of the idea.
Yeah, man. And one more from Jimif, who's the guy who created this. He said, I had a basic question. What made them decide to make a game that was essentially a VR parkour game?
Because there wasn't one. I mean, part of it was part of it was when we originally did the prototype, which was a very short session. I think that was less than a week, right, Richard? Like it only took a week. It was like
a weekend. Yeah,
like a weekend. Okay. Like we are, but after that, at that point, we already knew, like, okay, we have to make a game using this because it works really well. So I think it was more that than a conscious decision of like, oh well, let's just let's plan this out, and we're gonna plan all these things first. No, it was more like, oh, we discovered this mechanic, or we felt like we discovered. I'm sure we weren't the first ones to do this exact same mechanic, but and we're like, well, this is a lot of fun, and this has a lot of implications on what can be done with the game. We're talking about like what other games might be in the works or whatever, but there's a lot of things that you can do with this game. Including, right now the game doesn't have shooting and there's really no enemies or anything like that. But you could see that adding those things in wouldn't make the game worse. Let's just put it that way. Like, we did do a demo. We did do an experiment where we made a multiplayer shooter version of the game where your hands switch into guns. So you can like leap and change your hands into guns, and you can shoot at each other. It was just a 1v1 little experiment that we did, and that was so much fun. So it's like, we definitely want to have something like that in the future. So yeah, there's definitely lots that we're thinking about.
Yeah, but I think what he's talking about, where we started from, like, we started doing it on the weekend, and we're like, okay, let's do, like, a realistic climbing game. And, that would work, we could, make it look all nice and stuff like that. Basically, it was like the climb before we had any idea what the climb was for the Oculus. But then, we started doing jumping, and then we're like, oh, shit, let's just give the player, like, superpowers and have fun with it, because we, we don't really see a whole point in making simulations in VR. It's not really fun for us. We want to make fun games. So that's like, kind of where it came from, and we started bringing the Super Mario ideas for levels and the Mirror's Edge.
Oh, mate, that stood out a mile to me.
Make,
that stood out in canon, the level canon. I was like, this reminds me of Super Mario so much, and Sonic a little bit in places.
I think that might be somebody else's favorite level too.
Canon?
Oh, God, Canon.
That is far from my favorite. That is far from my favorite.
Was your hand on the couch?
No.
Just lingering.
Oh, dude, who's that? I have no idea. Christy, so thank you very much for talking about To The Top today and the ideas, the inspirations behind it. Thank you both. So, I think we need to start talking about Firewall, which pretty much I think everyone would have been playing it tonight mostly. Who done the last?
What's Firewall? What's Firewall?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Get out.
So Ryan, you're the last person I know to actually play it today before you come on here.
I played it, man. 2 hours before. Oh, no, you talking about Firewall?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I played it 2 hours before coming on here.
Oh, was it you? I thought Ryan done it as well.
No, Ryan was playing
cool.
Viking. Ryan was playing Viking Kings.
Oh,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny though, Gamertag. I was watching your stream all day today at work. The stream that you did, I think it was last night, and so I had that playing all day today while I was working on other games. So I thought that was kind of funny.
We had to pull Richard off of it just to come here today.
Yeah.
We had to pull him off of it just to
I've had a good 7 hours so far today.
Oh my god.
That's my number.
No, yes. No, I had a...
I got my first knife kill on God Cannon. That's right.
Oh my god. Don't tell anybody that. Shh.
So Ryan, Ryan, talk to me about it, man.
We'll let Lewis go first here.
Go on, Lewis, go for it.
No, it's fine. Okay, thank you. No, I'm stuck. No, I had a 2 hour stream obviously before coming on here with some more Firewall, and it's probably
what level are you, dude?
10 right now, actually.
Nice.
I was probably one of the best streams I've had in a while. Like it was so fun. I literally everyone that I played with recognized me. It was so much fun. Like we've all talked about how awesome it is. It's what we've all been waiting for. It's the VR shooter. But it's like not only is it reaching, obviously, because, we've been waiting for it. We're already PSVR owners, but it's reaching people outside the VR community. That's what Firewall is doing. And so I'm going to point your attention to a channel that I saw. I don't think he's sponsored, by the way. Inside joke. He does.
We're not mentioning his name.
He does. Well, this guy's channel's name is CNS underscore Gray, GREA Y.
I thought you were talking about someone else. Thank God for
that. No, this guy's name is CNS underscore Gray, and he does mostly Call of Duty, Fortnite, big shooters, 2D stuff, and he does very little PSVR stuff. He has a PSVR. He's done a couple videos here and there, but this game kind of brought him out of the woodworks to get into a shooter, and he was hyped for it before. Now he's like, and now that he's played the game, it's everything that again he's dreamed of, being able to be inside the shooters that he's been playing for so long.
That's the secret of PSVR, isn't it?
And
You've got to get in it. You got to get in the headset.
Yeah, it's the most fantastic thing I could dream for since I got into the VR.
Yeah, you're a Siege fan. You're a Siege fan.
Well, any kind of first-person shooter fan in general. But I've been waiting for a game like this forever, especially in VR. Like, it's just so good. It works so well. The aim controller is solid. The gameplay while you're playing the game is solid. I just can't talk enough. How good it is. Like, there's so many things you could say about it. Obviously, there's the little issues with the servers and stuff like that. But hopefully they'll get over that. Other than that, it is a legit first-person shooter in VR.
Everyone here has played it, though, haven't they? Right. Everyone has played it.
Yeah. With all the unlocks and the stuff that you can put on your guns, skins, customizations, it is a first-person shooter all the way. We don't need campaign for things like that.
Agreed.
Rainbow Six doesn't have a campaign, okay? It's just multiplayer and training missions.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's beautiful. I can't get enough of Firewall Zero. I'm going to be playing more tonight after this, guys. I hope you will, too.
We're all going to go in together, hopefully.
Yeah.
We should get like 8 players,
amazing.
right?
We got a nice private party after this. That'd be great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you know what's nice as well? Like, all the trailers, all the hype before it, I think it's completely been justified.
It totally deserved.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's an amazing.
I appreciate their transparency.
What's up, dude?
But they had trailers, they had gameplay, they had information. They really did a lot, which helped.
Yeah.
Right. There's been a couple that
I've barely slept thanks to that. I know you're in the same boat as me, and probably everybody else here too as well. It's hard to get off the damn game.
That's the thing. It's one of those games that I think all of us knew that
hey, who's this?
you had to put on your channels because you had to get people to watch
totally
it.
My fault.
They had to see it.
And kick him.
Kick him.
Nice, dude. Kick him. So next, we're going to talk about Bow to Blood by Tribe Toy. Who's played Bow to Blood here?
Inspired this great room, and we get to talk.
Yes, Bow to Blood.
Go for it, Shug. And I know you're going to be a good man for it. Go for it.
Yeah, Bout of Blood, I think was. I mean, it's going to get overshadowed by Firewall. That's just unavoidable. But I hope it's one of those games that people pay attention to. You know, when they're looking. Yeah, I think it's one of those games that's going to have some life with it. I think it's you know, it's good counter programming too, because for people who want like a single player game right now, you know, and they want to break from the multiplayer stuff, it's deep. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand.
Poor guy.
Sorry,
there was some entertaining stuff going on over there.
I'm sorry, Shug.
Forget about it.
I'd hear it until you guys got him.
We got a security breach, dude. We got a security breach.
Done.
It was an assassination.
I got him. There we go.
Let us hear.
Jason's the bouncer. So yeah, man, so Bow to Blood I thought was absolutely fantastic. Did you play with the moves and the DualShock, or did you prefer?
I did. I actually preferred the moves. I know a lot of people didn't, but I felt that the game, like the ship itself, moves very slowly. Like it's got these big turns.
Yes,
so yes. I didn't feel like the analog sticks were really like needed. So like I mean, it's a little more complex. So, you know, a little more button pushes, but like being able to aim all your guns with your move controller. And to be able to point and click at your guys and command them quickly, just to me just worked really well. But the game was so deep. Like managing all your resources and telling your guys what to do, and then when you get into the friends and foes system and realizing that like that actually like makes a difference. Because I played like a total asshole for the first round, and I got to the third stage, and I was in the bottom of it, and everybody voted me out because I was a total dick to everyone.
Did you play? So you played it how many times? I'm on my second playthrough, and I realised how different it was.
I'm on my third season of it, but I still haven't gotten to the finals. Like the game's got legs, and the other thing I really liked about it was for those of you guys who don't know, the art director worked on the Telltale Borderlands series, and if you look at that game, you can totally see the Borderlands in it.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, dude.
There we go.
Oh, he's only drunk.
It actually... It looks like it works.
But it makes the voice lower, so it's actually...
Oh, it does? Oh, it's not that good, huh?
No, well.
See.
Anyway,
hit the triangle.
But yeah, man, anyone else want to talk about? Everyone happy with that Bow to Blood? Quick
Bow to
review?
Blood, like Shug said, it's so much fun. It's so much more addicting than you realize. Yes. And like you just keep playing and playing and playing, and it just engrosses you. And then, like I said, the light social aspects, pretty much every part of that game just gets you deeper and deeper and deeper. The levels constantly mix up the action, whether you're racing or having to destroy a certain target or just chasing items. There's so much content value in that game. It's a great single player experience for a great price.
And one more thing I want to add.
You played it as well.
Sorry. Preach one more thing before, and then I'm done. I have never played a game on the PSVR that needed a multiplayer mode more than this game, though.
Oh, like, I agree.
Being able to, with all the depth and managing your resources, it'd be so much fun with the scale, you know, and all the elevation changes, and even if it was just like, even if I could just put Ryan on my bridge and be like, you're the gunner, even that I would settle for.
Wash my shoes. Make my dinner. Ideal.
I played it for like an hour.
You done a review, dude, didn't you?
I haven't reviewed it yet, but I did quite a long stream on it, and
I saw you play it, man. Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed. I totally enjoyed it. I did have a few guys. Shut up.
Lewis doesn't like answer.
Preaches one time to talk, and his dog kicks off.
Doesn't like my voice.
Who's a good dog?
Who's a good? Yeah, I had a few guys on my stream though. I don't know if any of you guys did, but I had a few guys on my stream. I don't mean just general. I was like, they were talking and they were saying like, I'm not interested in it, even though they were watching it. And I was telling them how great and fun it was. They were like, fuck this game, not for me, not spending money on it. I was like, why? It's really.
So what
really
about
good.
what about though? What? Yeah, man, it's brilliant.
Not even not the same thing.
You have to play it to understand.
I couldn't believe it.
You got to play it.
I couldn't believe it. But again,
you gotta feel
watching
it.
Watching YouTube stuff's not the same though, is it? You know, even watching videos, we try our best, but we can never fully sell the
Some
experience,
translate better than others.
Now, were the guys that were watching your stream and saying that though, were they people that already have VR, or were they people that don't have VR yet?
Some of them are definitely people that have VR because I know they've got other games.
So Firewall has been the one game I noticed more than any that are people who are asking, should I get a PSVR for this game?
Right.
And some of them were actually saying, I've just ordered it now.
Yeah, Gamertag. Like that. I've actually had people pop in the chat on my review and said specifically one guy today was like, I just bought the whole bundle for this game.
I played with
that. So I do have a problem with that. There's a small problem, and that is the aim controller. So if Fireball works awesome with the aim controller, it works great with the aim controller. But have you guys played it with the DualShock 4?
Yeah.
Jason has.
Ryan did. Ryan.
So, okay, before you say whether or not you liked it, I'm going to say I did not like it, and the reason why was because the aiming on the control, you have to point your hands down to aim straight, you know what I mean? And that does two things. One, it's uncomfortable to so like if you want to aim down sights, you have to point forward with the controller, right? But the other thing is that the light on the controller is then pointed down, and my camera is up high, and so it loses tracking a lot more with the. I wish that they would tilt it back just a little bit.
Tilt it up when you're in there and reset your thing. It'll reset it to that point.
It does. It does. Oh shit!
There you go,
okay,
man.
I'm gonna try that. So wait. How do you do it? So you tilt it up. Tilt it up.
Hold it the area that you want to hold it. Then hit your options button to reset it.
Okay.
And it will set right to that. And
oh, dude, I did not know that. Okay, that's a huge. That needs to go out. Like everybody needs to know that tip if they're playing with DualShock 4. Then.
Yeah, man.
All right.
One more feature about that I wanted to mention was one more feature. What about the 50-player interaction with the app? Did you have people on your streams doing that?
I didn't have the app or anything like that. And
I had Dave in my
I played for an hour, and I don't know. I just didn't find it as enjoyable as others. I'm sorry.
You weren't the only one though, Lewis. I remember. Who else? Someone else said they didn't particularly. Seraphim didn't particularly get on with it.
Seraphim hated it. God.
Yeah, he really did.
I did not hate it. I didn't hate it. I did not. I just didn't. I guess Firewall, man. It's fucking Firewall. I'm sorry. Fuck.
Most of the time with that,
first swear, Lewis. With that app, this was PG until you did that.
You're sitting there.
I'm trying really hard not to swear.
I know.
I didn't know. I will shut that. I will shut up.
Guys,
shut the fuck up,
with
Lewis.
that app, you're sitting there the majority of the time, and it just says like waiting for interaction. So I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but the majority of the time you're sitting there with that phone app. You're basically just waiting for the round to end or something like that.
Was you almost streamed Canon with the developer and all that, doing it?
I was on everybody's stream, hanging out, trying the phone app, trying to mess with them, trying to help them in any way I could. And yeah, majority of the time you're just sitting there and it says like waiting for interaction. So it's not like a app that keeps you engaged, really.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, Dave said the same thing.
Felt like an afterthought.
Yeah, it's afterthought.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. That's the way you roll. Yeah.
You need the
who's played Torn? I have, obviously, but who else?
Briefly,
not me, yeah.
Anyone done a full playthrough of Torn? Anyone played a lot of Torn?
I played a lot of Torn, yeah.
Yeah, man. What do you think? I think, personally, it's an amazing game, and I can't wait to finish it, but you tell me what you think of it, man.
I think it has... I think it's an amazing game underneath its PSVR flaws. I've heard.
I know you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about the turning Once you've got the...
There's a lot of things I'm going to talk about. I mean, I've heard that I heard on PC VR, the reviewers are saying that it's one of the best looking games on PC VR. On PlayStation VR, it's a jagged mess. Like, it needs pro support, even though the Sony site says it's pro enhanced. I don't believe it because it's pretty bad. But the more you're in the game, the more you kind of get caught up in the magic and stuff because it's a gorgeous game underneath all of its jagged edges. But I think the developer, and this is kind of funny having the Electric Hat guys games in here because they did so many things right. This developer did so many things wrong in the control areas. It's like it feels like a VR game from 2 years ago. It's like click turning only, no reverse button. So like if you're at a wall, you gotta click turn around, and you gotta walk back around, and then you gotta walk back up to the door. And it's just and really slow walking speeds. Like Robinson the Journey looks fast, and so it's like it has these like fundamental flaws. But the game itself sounds amazing. The music is unbelievable.
Yeah, the music is incredible.
The soundtrack.
The soundtrack's amazing.
The art direction, I mean, even the puzzles themselves, the tracking, the way the move works with the gravity gun, everything about the game is just so brilliant. I mean, you can tell it's written by the writer of BioShock. It's got it has this depth to the storyline. But man, it's got some flaws. And the game crashed on me halfway through, and then it put me on the top of a roof, and I'm glitched on the top of the.
See, that's so weird. Like when I played it, I had some jaggies. But I always find in PSVR there seems to be a balance. If you have jaggies, then you get a bit more increased sharpness. If you get rid of those jaggies, like for example Firewall with the anti-aliasing, it's so smooth that you've actually got a little bit of a blur. So I mean, there's zero jaggies in Firewall. I don't think I've seen a game with.
If anybody followed the patches for Ultra Wings, they show you exactly how that happened.
Oh yeah,
they started off jaggy, then they got sharp, then they went jaggy, then they went blurry, and then they brought it back to when it was sharp again.
They really explored pro features to make the game. But yeah, for me, Torn, like I thought it was beautiful, and the only issue I found, you're right, was quick turning and the fact that when you had the wand. The same to turn left, you're holding the move button, but you're trying to roll your thumb onto square to turn. But otherwise, from that, dude, I absolutely love Torn. I thought it was incredible. I thought it was really good.
So one of the just you were talking about turning, and one of the issues we had with to the top was I had put the turning buttons. I think it was on the top. At first, the top two buttons.
The top one. I remember.
And I just got, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, I know, right? I got so used to never using it, because I never used it. I always used the grab turn, and I completely forgot about the top two turn buttons. And so when it launched, and then I saw people I saw a couple of comments at first, right? Like, oh, I wish it was more like how Skyrim is, because Skyrim kind of set the standard, right? And then... And I was just like, let's just wait and see what happens here. and then the feedback, I was just like, nope, we got to fix this. And then we got the opportunity to do the patch, and I was just like,
quick as well, yeah.
Well, that was the other thing. Like when the opportunity came up to do the patch, I was like, I'm just gonna slip this in here.
When you say the opportunity, what does that mean? What do you mean by the opportunity?
So there's
Is it a time scale?
No, it's not so much that. It's just that there's like, when you're working as a developer, and then you're working with a publisher, and then you're also working with Sony, like there's not always the opportunity to just patch, like on PC, I can just make changes and then just upload it, and then it's out there, right? On Sony, you make changes, and it goes through their FQA, and then it has to be approved, which is all great stuff because it's curated like it should be.
We're going all after this.
But there's there's interactions between the developer and the publisher and all this stuff that needs to happen. The publisher has to we want to go ahead and spend the time and resources to go ahead and do that and stuff. And so basically that's what happened. Oh, sorry. Yep. Sorry.
Oh, that's cool, man. So the next game to talk about is Catch and Release.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man! What a game!
So psyched on fishing.
Who has? Can you play Catch and Release?
Yeah, man. I actually just tried it earlier. Absolutely loved it, man. As someone who grew up like fishing and knows a lot about fishing in general, it was definitely nice to have that finally in VR, and just to be able to go out there. They put you out in this giant lake, and you just you just relax and you just fish and you got your radio, you got your bait. I was pouring beer on fish and like throwing them back. I mean, there's a lot of nice surprises too. There's some animals that pop out of the woods and stuff, and it's a really relaxing, great experience, and it's also on sale.
Yeah, definitely.
$2.99. I mean,
loved it.
I like to see the sequel, Catch and Cook.
Catch and Hibachi.
Nice, man. So we can all agree that Catch and Release is like the best fishing game on PSVR.
It's not even the best fishing. It's one of the best simulation games.
Yes, it's a simulation.
Yeah.
That's what impressed me the most. The developers of that, like I was messing about. I was messing about doing everything, and the developers, basically,
they thought of everything.
Me at every turn, they thought of everything. I threw a
they thought of everything.
I got fined for littering.
Skipping.
I told GT, I was like, don't throw it in the water. You're not gonna. I was like, throw it in the thing. Gotta recycle, bro.
Oh man,
these guys are
seriously, it's like they thought of
tonight.
everything. The way the physics work, the pole, when you bring the bobber back in, it bounces across the water. You could skip rocks. Man, fuck
the
that.
water is amazing. The water is some of those beautiful water I've seen in VR. It has so much depth to it. It's crazy.
Oh, especially when you go shallow and you can just sit there and you start watching for the fish. And I'm like, okay, I'm casting right there. That's where they are. I can see them.
It's crazy.
And I could see a big one was circling my hook, and I was like, yes. And then this little shit came in and grabbed my hook. I was like, dude, he was right there. You
need better bait, man. You need better bait.
I saw a deer. I was like,
look at that guy's hand up. I saw a deer.
Oh my god! I was like, oh my god, it's a deer. I did. I saw
a moose, man.
I saw a moose. Saw the moose? I saw the deer. The deer was a beautiful little deer. It was just a beautiful little deer. I almost cried. I almost cried.
Right here, dude.
Oh my god. Jim Eric, what's up?
You have no idea how long I have to get this game downloaded again.
Yeah,
I just want to say thank you for helping you and Jason making this level, man. Everyone loves it.
Job, guys.
A lot of hard work.
It's an amazing level
for us to do this.
Very cool.
I want a group photo on the stage.
We'll have to bring some of these guys.
Whenever,
do you know what, though? Jim, if turn up right now is the
we'll
best
take it, we'll
time.
save you in. We'll immortalize you in here forever.
Yeah, man. Jimmy, I need to talk about Track Lab, dude, and I know you are the man to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been
Track
watching
Lab.
you, dude.
It was weird because everyone tried it, and everyone jumped for Electronauts, which is a really easy pick up and play sort of game. You try Electronauts, you'll enjoy it because you just become a DJ within 5 seconds.
Yeah, I love Electronauts.
I didn't buy Track Lab. You're actually building the track up completely from a sample. And going through how you would normally in a normal DAW software, but it's kind of changed it. It's flipped on its side. And you've got like a train track to kind of match the looping, and then you build loops up, and you can do like the DJ mixing as well. But last night I've done a stream of it and got to the grips of it, and I even worked out how to do it in a normal track. But it's amazing. It's great. It's fun.
I watched Jimmy, and honestly, I haven't seen a stream where I thought, do you know what, that looks absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen all the streams, admittedly. Basically, when I saw the trailer, and I think I saw you doing it, Jimmy, if you had the music going from left to right at one stage, and I remember in the trailer...
I watched your review, Ryan.
That's the trailer I saw, and I remember thinking, my little girl's going to love this. She's going to be able to put drums here, guitar here, keyboard here. She's going to find it really easy. But then I saw either Ryan's or Dave's stations, and it looked crazy. There was bits going every... And I thought, she's never going to do that. She's never going to be able to manage that. But, I watched you. You done the Iron Man soundtrack, didn't you, last night?
I did. I did Black Sabbath.
Awesome.
I did Black Sabbath.
It was brilliant.
You can do it.
Iron Man.
You can do it. It's just that you have to think about it outside the box a bit, because you're basically starting every pulse fires from a cannon, and then it starts from there, and that's how your normal DAW would work. Start off, you hit start, and then everything runs along the bar. You just kind of draw it in that way. But it's easy me going, oh yeah, it's just this and that. But if people are not musically inclined, then you're just going to be like, oh, what is he actually doing? What does this mean?
That's the thing.
So, but that's where Track Lab comes. Electronauts is the balance for letting beginners that jump in and get used to sort of grooving with music.
Oh, my daughter who's 9 has got an Electronaut, and she loved it. She was amazed by it, and the selfie cam, man, it was like she just went crazy with the selfie cam. Go on, Shug, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, TrackLab is what people think they wanted, but Electronauts is what they actually wanted, and I think people are figuring that out. I think TrackLab is a very, very well-made game. I think it looks really nice. I think it's got a lot of functionality, and I fucking hate it. I bought the game. I actually paid for the game. I was going to do a review on the game. I did like a 90-minute stream, and I was like, I don't even want to look at this again. My problem with the game is I don't know if anyone's seen the footage of Dreams and the way that they're going to create audio.
It's a standard DAW.
But I think it's a perfect balance of for people who don't like know what an E sharp sounds like, to be able to like make music, and it's also more traditional, like the way it runs along a timeline instead of like everything in loops. To me, the entire TrackLab game felt like a puzzle game. I know it had puzzles in it, but the whole thing felt like a puzzle game.
It looked like a puzzle game. It looked like a puzzle game.
Challenge. It's a challenge. I gave you that. But I mean, I worked with some Aphex Twin in it. So if I can work at Aphex Twin in it and other
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know you watch Jimif do it. I actually thought I could have a go at that. But before that, because I don't know the way he made it sound, he was even making the notes verbally and going, "Oh no, that's it." And then applying that note. It was really good.
You will love it.
I don't know if you guys remember, but in the chat when I was describing this, what TrackLab's like, 90% of the people will play it for 2 hours and go, fuck this game. Sorry, censors, PG, but screw this game.
No, we've had loads already. Shug literally blew the game.
I thought I did.
Lewis started it.
And then we'll
Sorry, Firewall's amazing.
Then you'll have 10% like Jim that do something really awesome and do like Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and then people, the rest of the 90% will watch that and go, oh, maybe I should jump back into this game again, and then they'll just get fed up and leave it. So it'll be the 10% that gets everybody back.
Anyone I put into Electronauts is like, this is amazing. Like they didn't even know nothing about music. They started hitting things around, and there was like, it was over. They started mixing things, and it sounded good, and they were dancing.
I can't wait to do a party and have it on the sound system, and people just...
Yes.
It's going to be incredible.
Totally. I mean, let me go ahead and put my 2 cents in on TrackLab's Electronauts, because...
Somebody else over there?
Yeah, I see somebody.
That's me.
Oh, okay.
Fix the scene without being seen, but obviously
he's trying to blend in. He's blending in, guys.
I thought it was a pretty neat game. I like the puzzle aspect of it. But when it comes to creating music, you really do the time that it takes to create stuff. And like Shug was saying, you have to make it out of like a grid, like a box. If you've ever used Fruity Loops or something, it goes more in like a wave pattern. And, you know, like Jimmy, I play music too. But it's not. It's like completely different. It's essentially like trying to create it from making like a brick breaker puzzle, and so it's a little convoluted and complicated. But you can still, for some people that especially you like to make like abstract stuff, like it works. It does.
I know, as I said, I saw that
more
last
than
night.
Electronauts, though. It costs more than Electronauts.
Electronauts?
No, I didn't think it was. I thought the puzzle stuff, the single-player puzzle stuff was pretty fun. To create music, maybe it's just a personal thing, but to have that loop, and to have that loop keep going and going and going, it was like I felt like I was going crazy. Like
I said too. It's like it's making a circuit. You're trying to complete a circuit, and it's more and more complicated and just keeps building and building, and it's like I said, unless you're musically inclined, like Jimith over here, it's overwhelming. It's too much, and you know what? Like preachers walk away.
It's musical programming. So I'm a programmer. I'm a web developer as well, and that tied with the challenge of I'm going to make a song and using and knowing what tools to use once you've unlocked them from the single player. I quite like the challenge of that, but if you're in for the quick fix, then get Electronauts.
Yeah, exactly, man. The TrackLabs is what it says it is.
I just want to go back to
I just thought the trailer wasn't.
Oh, man.
Music
2000 on PlayStation. Do that.
Yes, sir. I'm just going to go at that for now. I'll get mine one day.
Something that Preach said, and Preach, I don't know if you even said this before, but something he said in chat that was one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard said about Electronauts. Was if it was a drawing program or a painting program, every brush stroke would be the Mona Lisa. That's how Electronauts makes you feel.
Yeah, that's true though. Right. That's true.
But that's because he's a drummer and it's percussion. A lot of it's percussion. He's spot on at that. I've watched them. Many hours.
It's such a good game. It's so fun to use. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, guys. So, well, I think that brings us to a close for the second PSVR chat show. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the set, man. We're going to go explore the set.
High fives.
Wait, hold on 1 sec. We're going to get this available.
High fives.
This is going to be available to...
1 minute. Guys. Stop.
Hold on.
Stop! Sorry,
Just FYI, this room is going to be open for anybody after we do this. We're going to open this up to the public so you can come in here, check it out, hang out with your friends, have chats. Check it out.
Nice.
And also, one more thing, have we got 2 keys to give away for To The Top?
Oh yeah, we'll do. We still have keys. We have some keys. So yeah.
I don't have any keys.
Check in the pocket.
But I can. You got the keys? Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we got 2 PSVR keys and then 2 PC keys.
Okay, so you got 1 EU and 1 NA. Is that correct?
For PSVR.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. So if anyone wants a key, hold on, let me get away from this lot.
Oh, how are we going to do that?
We're gonna the way we'd like to do it is basically whoever watched, what your favorite comment was from Richard or Dan, and what your opinion is on it. We'll choose within 24 hours, and we'll let you know. That's on anybody's, on anybody's stream. Just send us the information.
At the end of this video, just leave a comment and a like, and just say what they said. The best.
What you like
in my video. I will be posting it.
Yeah, we're looking to reward the people that are watching the show. Unfortunately, the latecomers might be at a loss on that one, but at least they'll be tuning in for next time. Wink, wink.
Yeah, no worries, man. There will be a PSVR chat show Friday. So anyway, thank you very much, guys. And what are we doing now? I think we're going to do a bit of Firewall, I believe,
Yeah, let's do it.
Most of us.
Thank you very much, dude.
I might have to skip out just for a little while.
Thanks for having us. It was awesome.
Oh, man, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Drop the mic. Cheers, Lewis. Thank you, guys.
Sorry.
Mate. Oh, we don't want to be friends.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Sorry, I'm lagging over here. I'm trying to download the Destiny 2 update, and it's like killing my internet. There we go. Yeah.
Walk it nice. Thanks for coming, man.
Hit the triangle button.
There we go.
There we go. How do I do it? There we go. Oh, yeah, nice.
Friends with these guys. Go ahead.
I can't help myself. Jason, I gotta go jump around.
Hey,
man.
man.
There you go.
Do your thing.
Thanks for coming out. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah. We gotta get gamers.
Oh yeah, let's take some. Hold on. Did everybody?
Yeah. I watch the stream quite a lot actually.
Let's
So
let's
just
take
kind of keep updated. Yeah, because I don't get to
play
play as much as I'd like to. So when I'm at work and I'm just typing away on my computer, I usually just leave somebody's stream up there in the corner, kind of keep up to date. Yeah.
It's a real honor, dude.
We can add them later if you want.
So we're doing a selfie, yeah?
Yeah, I got left though. Where'd Shuggy go?
We'll add them later on if you want.
Are you going to set up? We'll have Jason set up.
Jason, Shuggy had to go.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, it's gone too.
And Ryan.
Oh, pizza.
We can add them later on if they want.
I can't believe we only got cheese and tomato. Where's the pepperoni, dude?
Howard, some.
Some pepperoni,
The box is empty unless you've scavenged it.
Everybody pile in. Yeah, man.